Okay, next, let's talk about pitch correction specifically. I like to use Auto-Tune, like I said before. I think Auto-Tune is probably the most powerful pitch corrector in the world, and it also is very awesome in Cubase, and it works really good. And when you're using Auto-Tune, I think a lot of people associate that with, vocals sounding fake, but Auto-Tune is just very powerful and allows you to go anywhere between completely natural pitch correction to 100% robotic keyboard sounding pitch correction. And the mode that I'm going to show you today is called graph mode, which is the main editing mode of Auto-Tune, which allows you to pretty much do any type of vocal correction that you could ever want to do. So let me actually demonstrate graph mode to you. And this is going to be, I'm going to throw in some tips here too so that I can make your workflow a lot easier. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bind a key for Auto-Tune. So we're going to go to File and go to Key Commands. And then I'm going to go through this list here. This list is all of the different commands that Cubase can do. What we want is Auto-Tune. That's going to be in the plugins right there. So once you find Auto-Tune, you're going to select it in the list like this, and then you'll go into where it says type in key and click there. And I'm going to do Shift A, and I'm going to hit Assign. So now every time I press Shift A, it's going to open Auto-Tune. Hit OK. Now if I click on this piece of audio and hit Shift A, Auto-Tune comes up. That's just a nice quick way to get to it without having to traverse the menus every time. All right, so let me demonstrate what graph mode is. So let's go into graph mode with Auto-Tune. So with graph mode, you have these keys here, which demonstrate different notes. And they go across like this, across the timeline. So this is your timeline here, and then these are your notes. And the concept is you will take a vocal performance and you will track the pitch of that performance, and then Auto-Tune will graph it onto this graph here. And then it gives you these tools for you to interact with the performance by making adjustments and drawing pitch corrections like this so that you can change the performance how you'd like. I'll show you the process of actually graphing a vocal take. So the first thing you would want to do is click on Clear All, hitting Track Pitch, and then hit Preview.
Do you have nothing more to give? Do you have nothing more? Do you have nothing?
And it'll just keep looping until you hit stop. So you only need to play it through one time with the track pitch engaged. And then as you can see, there's all of the sounds he made with his mouth coming through on the graph, and we can see the various pitches that he was making, and it appears here. So let's actually talk about pitch correction modes, because you've got there are actually two different modes with Auto-Tune in particular. So the first mode, which I just showed you, is graph mode, and we kind of have a basic understanding of that. But the other mode is auto mode, and this is what you kind of see people using in more like hip hop and pop style productions, because you can make it do all kinds of T-Pain sounding things such as this.
Do you have nothing more to give? Do you have nothing more?
That's auto mode, and retune speed will affect how drastic it becomes when you are affecting the pitch.
Do you have nothing more to give? Do you have nothing more? Do you have nothing more to give? Do you have nothing more?
So yeah, that's the auto mode. I don't really use auto mode very much. unless I'm working with maybe like a very short instrumental part, I might put it on instrument mode and do like a quick tune or something. But as far as vocals are concerned, I think graph mode is the best. So moving on from graph mode, the next thing we have is the formant mode. And this just kind of helps you make your drastic edits more realistic sounding. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Let's go into the chorus and check out this line here.
Oh, just leave it all behind. Oh, just leave it.
Okay, let's assume that we wanted to change this note here to this note instead. Let's hear what that sounds like.
Oh, just leave it all behind.
Yeah, so it sounds fake, sounds like a robot or something. Now, if we put it on formant mode, Autotune is going to attempt to make that sound more like it would really sound if he had sung that note, because the shape of his throat would have actually been different. And so Autotune is going to attempt to make it sound like that.
Oh, just leave it all behind.
So if we turn it off, you can hear it sounds more fake.
Oh, just leave it all behind.
And then with it on, it sounds a little bit more realistic.
Oh, just leave it all behind.
You can also change the throat length, which will affect the all of the corrections.
Oh, just leave it all behind. Oh, just leave it all behind.
This is really useful for spot parts, like little. Well, basically, you would want to use it to just correct tiny little sections, maybe just one word or just one syllable. But it comes in handy for that. Then you've got your transpose and your scale detune and your key and your scale. When you're in graph mode, the key and the scale kind of will change your view, and it'll give you different guidelines. And you can see the spacing of the notes starts to change. I prefer to have it on chromatic, just so that I can see equal spacing semitones from line to line. I prefer to look at it like that. The next thing that you should really care about is the tracking. Tracking is going to determine how much Autotune actually cares about. So if I clear this and track it again, I've got my tracking set to 1. So let's look at what it captures.
Oh, just leave it all behind. Oh, just leave.
Okay, so you can see it actually picked up a little bit less than what we saw before. Let's put it all the way up and see what it picks up.
Oh, just leave it all behind.
Okay, so now Autotune cares about a lot more parts. And you can see that it picked up a lot more stuff for us to mess with. That's what tracking does. I tend to have mine all the way up almost all the time because I want to be able to correct every little thing that I can. But if you're working with something that's a little bit more natural, you might not want to use that mode. I think by default it goes to 50, which is a little bit halfway in between the least amount of carrying and the most amount of carrying. So there's that. Okay, next is the input type. And you've got just these 5 here. So you have a soprano, the alto tenor, low male, instrument, and bass instrument. Bass instrument is useful for low guitar tunings and bass. It kind of puts Autotune in a mode that's prepared to pick up really, really low notes. but it won't be as accurate on the higher notes. Instrument mode, which allows you to work with things like guitars and pianos. Low male for lower register vocal parts, and working with males in general, this tends to be the mode that works best. Alto and tenor is kind of the default register of the human voice, and the soprano, which is for much higher notes, as well as falsetto parts. Now, you're going to notice that when you start messing with the input type, it's never perfect. So you might scan something that should be soprano, but it doesn't detect it properly, and so then you scan it with the next one, and it works. Even though it's a soprano part, alto ends up being the right mode. You just have to play around with it. It's designed to be a tool to help auto-tune figure out what notes are being sung. Okay, so let's actually cover the correction tools in auto-tune. These are the pitch correction tools. Starting with this one right here, this is the pitch line. I'll demonstrate that for you. So the pitch line is a 2-point tool. So you click once, and that starts the line, and click again to end the line, or to add a point to the line. And then when you double click, you finish a line. So if you have a vocal part,
oh, just leave it all behind. Oh, just leave.
this tool is designed to show auto-tune where you would like to change the pitch. So if you click once and click twice, I'm now telling auto-tune I want this note here to appear here. That's what that tool does. The next tool is the freeform line tool. This is just a tool that allows you to draw whatever you want for your pitch correction. So if you really would like to make your own shapes and different pitch graphing, you can use that. I would say that's rarely used, but at least it's there if you need it. The next tool is the adjustable note tool. This is a great tool for finding what you need to do with the part, because sometimes when you're looking at pitch graphing, it can be very confusing on what you should correct. So when you have this, you can draw a note like this, and then you can move that note around very easily, and then you can preview what you've done to see what the note should be. And we'll talk more about these tools in a minute. I'm just trying to show you what the various tools are and what they can do. The next tool is the select and move tool. This is like your tool that you will use to select different corrections. So if I have like these two different types of corrections here, my selection tool allows me to click them and interact with them like this. I can also select multiple things at once and move it around like this. The next tool is the scissor tool. Scissor tool is great for cutting up various edits. So if you have an edit right here and you click on scissor, you can cut that into different pieces and move it around like that. If you have a curve, you can use the scissor tool to cut the curve into multiple edit points, which will allow you to skew different sections of a vocal edit like this without affecting the rest of the pitch. Then you have the zoom tool. It's just an hourglass, and you can make a selection box around something and it'll zoom in as much as possible to that area. So if you're zoomed out like this, you can just put it around that part and it'll zoom in. Then the next tool is the range select tool. and that allows you to select various words or syllables like this. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the curve concept. So if you actually select this beginning part here and you click on the button that says make curve, it will trace that part of the performance, which you can interact with those corrections. So it's like as if you took the freeform tool and traced exactly what the vocalist did, and then now you can take those pieces and move them up or down in pitch as you see fit. But it's useful because it'll trace it exactly, which is really hard to do by hand. And then you've got the pan and shift tool, which is just a hand that allows you to move around the surface area of the graph. I think it's really handy because these scroll bars become a little bit difficult to work with sometimes. Now, you might be wondering, what do all these lines actually mean? Especially the first time you see this, it kind of looks confusing. Well, let's scan this vocal and let's just watch what it does.
Oh, just leave it all behind. Oh.
So looking at this slide here, you can see the red lines are showing you the original pitch of the performance. So these are the pitches that he sung originally in the performance. Now, when you make a correction, such as this, or like with this, you're going to see a blue line. The blue line is telling Auto-Tune what to do. So if we draw a blue line here, we're telling Auto-Tune we want this red line to become closer to this blue line. And then finally, you have the green lines, which indicate where Auto-Tune has moved the pitch of the performance. So if I actually, let's say I draw something like this, and then select that section with the select tool, and then move the retune speed, you can see that it is showing me what it's going to do to the performance as I increase the retune. So if I increase the retune all the way to 0, then it will do exactly what I drew. And then if I decrease it, it will only get so close. And you have any degree of difference in between.